It's now time to listen from one of the legendary person that we've always been inspired to, always been looking up to, Dr. D Srinivasan, born in 1931 in Mysore, a village in Mysore, specifically to say from Gajanur in Mysore, where Dr. Rajkumar comes from. He always calls him a soulmate, that they are co-mates in their journey. He's done his BSc Physics in Mysore University, MSc Physics in Mysore University. He has multiple PhDs in sociology, Master's in degree in Development Administration from University of London. He was 4th rank in the year 1955 when he joined civil services. So rank 4. His achievements are galore. I keep telling the achievements, time will go ahead in terms of the achievements itself. So one thing, very proudly, he was selected to set up universities and educational ventures in the Northeast India. So across Northeast in different states, if you see central universities and universities specifically, the man behind the entire university setup across Northeast India has been Dr. D Srinivasan. Today, when you get into services, when you serve to the country as different officers of All India Service or Central Services, each of these service comes with its own perks and requisites and glamour and glit, also with the challenges that the job offers. But those were times where either Dr. Kedar or Dr. Srinivasan sir joined. Those were times where the idea of glit and glamour was less, the facilities were almost nil, and they had to work in those conditions where they had to set everything going from the ball zero. So that is when both of them have started the service from. And I was just interacting where he said he was in his final year degree in the Central College here in Bangalore, and it was 14th August night when Professor Ramchandra Rao, who was their warden on the university, came down and he said, we'll have to listen to a speech which the leader of the nation will come up with. And the night from 11 o'clock to 3 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the night to 3 o'clock in the morning, they listened to the Thirst with Destiny speech. A very emotional moment for all of them in the hostel when this happened, and to see through. For us also, it's a very, very emotional moment to understand that we have amongst us, both of them, who have served through the motherland in all those times. And if today India is India, and if what we are experiencing India and what we will experience as India in days to come, it is the service of many such leaders in their own respect, many such youngsters in their own respect that they have given through to the nation. They've all been behind the scene, never seek the glamour or the photo op that generally people do seek. They have done their work with utmost silence, and the human service has recognized to that. So it's very much honor and pleasure, sir, that we have both of you amongst us today. And nothing more can wait to listen to you, sir. The stage now is to Dr. D Srinivasan, sir.
Friends, I really feel it especially privileged to be amongst you on this very sacred and noble day, where the whole country has been awakened to celebrate the 75th year of independence. I know Mr. Srinivas through Dr. Rajkumar Academy, because I have to go a little nostalgic. Otherwise, probably I might not have known him so independently. Kedar, we know each other. We contributed to Rajkumar Academy. And Dr. Rajkumar, we come from the same village. He was emotionally bound with me even today. He was a great soul. God created Dr. Rajkumar with a little that extra in abundance, which distinguished him from all other humanity. A great soul, a great artist, a very large-hearted person who wanted to always share whatever he had with others around him. I knew him intimately. When I was commissioner in Goa, I had the privilege of hosting him. He always used to stay with me when he came for shooting there. So I know him inside out, even more than his own children. That is what I tell Shivraj Kumar, late Puneet and Raghavendra. So I cannot get away from that emotional attachment to Dr. Rajkumar. And that gave me the privilege of knowing a great person like Srinivas. You know, he had nothing to do with civil service. He was in the Delhi Police Department, and Kedar and a few other civil servants who happened to be posted in Delhi. They encouraged and enabled people who came for interview from Karnataka. It's a great encouragement they had given. They have sacrificed their own time. They considered the whole mission with sincerity and contributed a lot to their performance in the interview. It's a little bit, I know. Prashant has been a moving spirit in the Rajkumar Academy. Here also, I think he is doing extremely well. I am so happy to be here with you all. First of all, you are the aspirant for civil services. First, you know what is civil service. It is not for enjoyment. When you get into civil service, it throws on you a great responsibility that you are getting your salary from the tax paid by the people, and you are enabled to spend the money collected through tax from the people. There is a big responsibility on that. So being a civil servant is big responsibility. The very first day of my promotion, Kedar was telling Metcalfe was the commander-in-chief of the Indian Army at the British Indian Army. So we had our training school there first in the 50s then. And my director of the academy was an ICS officer, very stern, very strict, very dominating, very fearful, fearsome personalities. Ours was a very small batch. T.N. Sessions, who was the chief election commissioner, I was the 4th rank, he was 5th rank. We were all together, very small batch at that time. And then somehow the director picked me up. He said, "What are you here for?" He said, "Sir, I have been selected for Indian Administrative Service. This is the first day of my promotion. I happen to be so." "Rubbish. You are neither administrative nor service. You are a civil servant." He took out from his pocket the latest edition of the Oxford Dictionary, pocket edition. Read out the meaning of civil. That civil means courteous, service, culture. All these things should characterize your service. Never say again you are administrative service. That's all nonsense and rubbish. Dedicate your service in the true spirit of the meaning which you have read about civil. This is your advice like that. Very first day he told us we have gained independence only about 5 years ago. So never talk to anybody about his caste or creed or religion. We have been strictly following that. I never asked in my life anybody what is his caste, what is his religion. These are the first things to do as a civil service. Great responsibility. So a lot of resources are available with you, but whenever you are posted in a district or anywhere like wherever, whichever department, try to manage within the resources available. I can never give a better example than Abhinandan Varthaman, who shot the F-16 of Pakistan Air Force. So at the split of a nanosecond he had with him when he sighted that his radar showed that enemy's aircraft was flying over. He had no time to think, he had no time to ask his commander how he should do that thing. Whatever resources he had immediately clicked and shot down that plane. So you have to manage within your own resources. I had always done that. Either as an assistant commissioner or deputy commissioner. I was in Union Territories cadre of IAS, serving literally north and south and east and west of this great country. Different culture, different language, different politicians, different mindset of politicians, varying resources, varying climate, everything, including Andaman Nicobar. So civil service gives you a biggest opportunity to serve in the geographically different parts of this country, which strengthens your personality, your dedicated to the mission in your life as a civil servant. So this is all. I don't want to infect with you with more ideas about civil service, you will learn when we interact with you. And so far as you are aspirant for civil services, dedicate your full time. Never be hesitant about full devotion to it. Seamless 24 hours, you must do that. Competition is deadly, beastly, very cruel today. 10 lakhs people appear and measly 900 vacancies are there. Chances are 1 in 2,000, 1 in 1,000. But that does not encourage. Who knows, you may be one of them. I am very, very, very proud that boys and girls from Karnataka are doing exceedingly well. In 900 vacancies, to just get about 10 vacancies is a big achievement, big achievement. It's all because of hard work, you thinking, undisturbed, focused attention. Please carry on with that. Now coming to this 75th year of independence, I was in the first year of PUC, intermediate we used to call in Central College here. So the freedom was to be announced at 12 midnight. Our great Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, was to deliver it. My professor came, disturbed me from our hostel. All the students were collected in the college premises. From 11 o'clock in the night till 3, we were all there, hearing that emotional tryst with destiny speech. So he made a poignant statement. When the whole world will be sleeping, we will be awake to our life and freedom. He said, to our life and freedom. Life is characterized by freedom. If there is no freedom, there is no life. So this is, we learned from American independence, our precursors, Abraham Lincoln. They did quite a lot to inspire us in getting freedom. French Revolution, we were very much inspired by them, where a despotic kingdom and monarch can be thrown out through the strength of the people alone. So these are the examples we derived spirit from that. And we had followers first. Nelson Mandela, who is my icon. My personal hero is Nelson Mandela. 32 years he was in prison there, where the only noise he heard was the roaring waves of Indian Ocean. The only light he had was the skylight of a few inches, 20 feet above in that jail. And the jail was only a few kilometers away from the shore of South Africa. The great sacrifice. So he said in his book, Long Walk to Freedom, as I climb towards my freedom, I find I had to climb many steep rocks. As I climb one steep rock, I find that I have many more steep rocks to climb. That is very much applicable to civil service. One rock is your prelim. Second rock, steeper rock is main. The steepest rock is the Viva. So such great people. In my opinion, in my judgment, Nelson Mandela was more Gandhian than Gandhi himself. And there was another character. There was a bishop in America. He was a Little Rock school. They were discriminating on races, admission to children. It is in Arkansas state in America. So he characterized by following true Gandhian principles of ahimsa, truth, and won over the government and got admission for the underprivileged children, neglected children of belonging to a particular race. So these are all inspiring personalities we have come across. Thanks, we are living in this world. We are part of the history of this world. We are all world citizens today. After the technological revolution, we cannot isolate ourselves from what is happening in other countries. Even if you want to, the climate will not allow you to change because a domino effect. What is happening in Pacific, we are facing that as in the form of tsunami. Last Sunday at this time, I was the chief guest in an international event organized by UNESCO, FAO, Tamil Nadu government, Anna University, a few NGOs on climate change. At this very time I was addressing. I was the chief guest. I spent a lot of time with the school and college children. We planted about 1,000 trees simultaneously within 1 hour. So we cannot isolate ourselves from what is happening around the world. It definitely will affect. It is economy, it will affect. It will be diplomacy, it will affect. We cannot isolate ourselves in that. So we are living in such a world. And our freedom struggle started almost 150 years ago, before 1947. A small and big way. They were all small principalities and the colonial bosses. They succeeded in dividing the country and then ruling for such a long time. When they took the first boat from their own native, whether it is the France, whether it is the Holland, or the Portuguese, or the England, they were all only for, they heard. I am very happy, I am very proud that the story they heard about 400 years ago about India was, our streets were paved with gold. Our people were glittering with gold and silver and all that thing. That is why they were very fond of acquiring India. They have colonial economy at that time because they divide and rule. They never allowed us to gather strength. It's very difficult to imagine that state of it. But they succeeded. They ruled us for power. But it took a Gandhi, a person. The real good product of our independence was Mahatma Gandhi. His path of winning freedom by strictly following the noble path of ahimsa and truth and self-reliance. Now Modi is talking about Atmanirbhar Bhavan. All these things are self-inspired by Gandhi. And he lived the life of a simple person. He took the example of the villager in the poorest of the poor village in India. How he looks like, what he is. Gandhi ate only that. So we should all be inspired by Gandhi. No greater tribute can be about Gandhi than Albert Einstein, who said that the future generation will not be able to easily believe that such a person walked on this earth. Strictly following non-violence. He never compromised on non-violence. He never, non-violence, not only that, by thought, words, and action, he said nobody should cause even at the distance, any harm to others. That was his point. He strictly followed that. And he strictly inspired the 30 crore people at that time to follow his. And it was not very easy for us. Nothing really meritorious comes without hard work. The simple logic. So we also had to do a lot of work. Very thorny path. We lost many precious lives in a very cruel way. When Jallianwala Bagh, people were praying, the dyer shot them. You see, can you imagine a more inhuman way of treating human people in that too? They were the administrators. And even controlling crowd, they were not like our policemen having a small baton. Thick 6 inches baton, both ends were with metals. And they were taught to hit on head. Now our policemen are taught only below the hip. So that was the way they were ruling that. I'm happy with all the efforts of our most inspiring people who never bothered about sacrificing anything in their life, left their personal life and faced boldly whatever be the consequences, the very cruel rulers of British origin, and we won freedom. So all of us should remember the sacrifice they have made. We know what at that time I was in the borderline, they know what sacrifice. I traveled all the way from here to Mysore. At that time, not much transport was able. Gandhi visited Mysore. We all students went to Mysore. Have a look at him. We cried because so much of emotion was generated. When he got out from the train, the half dressed, and then said in it happened very more as if God had come. Such is the inspiring personality. And all of us civil servants, I have to only advise, never run after money. If you don't run after money, money will run. Today, Karnataka, I am very sorry, I am from this state, I am a Mysorean. Corruption is eating into the good name of Karnataka. Postings, they spend a lot of money, irrespective of the level of the post. Why should we? They bribe the politicians. And how do they get money? They said, I have spent so much money, I must recover, we get corrupt. So this is a permanent vicious cycle that is created. So all of you should pledge yourself when you are in their academy that you should never be indulged in corrupt practices. Please make sure all of them take that pledge on the law. I will be here for the law. I will compel each one of you to take that. Clean administration. We have technology available. Why should you need it? What is the harm in going and working in a place where government chooses to post you? Why ask, I want this place to be posted, that place to be? Why are not that? You are encouraging politicians, they want something. Never believe a politician. If you are honest, do your good work. If you are bold and be polite, you can always win the politician. I have worked with 9 central ministers as private secretary, cabinet ministers. I had never bothered because I was always polite, but I never accepted them. Without their knowing that I have disagreed with them. If you are polite, you can go. So there are many things you will learn according to the situation, but never give yourself to any corrupt practice and all. And be always motivated to serve the people. Whichever way, whichever post you are occupying, there is ample opportunity for you to serve people without your real investment. That is the greatness of civil service. So I am very happy all of you are gathered here. And remember the sacrifices all our people have made, how much time we have taken to win freedom. And my mind, because history will teach you everything, there is no problem at all. And be dedicated to whatever you are allotted and try to share with you people. Mother Teresa had said, since the dawn of civilization, humanity has been immensely benefited by living together, by working together, by suffering together, and by sharing together. Please try to share with the needy people. When a needy person is used, find sitting there, give him something here. You see the brightness in his eyes, the hope it is outshining in his face. So try to share whatever you have done. Wherever you are, get yourself involved in some social work. Plenty of opportunities there. I am very happy to say, last week, the event on which I was the chief guest, one NGO, they have taken on them the mission of afforestation. It has been organized by Central Customs officers. The person who was with me on the days was Additional Chief Commissioner of Customs, Mr. Harshvardhan Umri, a Maharashtrian. He was so proud, all the leisure hours, they are bringing awareness of the need for afforestation as one of the means for facing climate change. Thank you so much for, I have shared a few thoughts with you. If you want to talk about, if you want me to talk about freedom struggle, probably I can keep you engaged for the whole day. So, but that is not the idea. Come to the crux of the point, be brief, and then what are the thrust points I have shared with you. Please remember the great personalities I have mentioned, Abraham Lincoln, or Nelson Mandela, or Martin Luther King, or our own Mahatma Gandhi. Be inspired by the way they live, how they set examples for the whole humanity, how they served, how they awakened the humanity for the good cause, how they benefited the society, how they benefited the community. All of them have fought individually. And then later on, they were able to assemble people, but never bothered whether they got supporters or not. They were walking alone. They succeeded. Thank you so much for Srinivasa and Prashant and Kedar. He's a great person. He's a very good friend of mine. A practical administrator. I will give you only two instances. I am a social worker. I am the national coordinator for International Youth Exchange, organized by UNESCO. Every year, 30 volunteers come. This month later, they are coming. And they live with Indian family for 1 year, live exactly like Indian, in letter and spirit, and then go back after learning about it. It is all funded by UNESCO. So at that time, we had to get visa for those participants. So Culture Ministry was saying, we are not concerned. Sports Ministry and Youth Affairs and Sports Ministry said they were not concerned. My friend was in Cabinet Secretariat. Then I spoke, Kedar, this is the position. Sir, don't worry. Within 24 hours, he said, Culture Ministry, you are responsible. That is the greatness. He is an authority on e-governance. E-governance was a new concept about 20 years ago. And he was just on the point of retiring from service. So S.V. Ranganath was the chief secretary. The government of Karnataka appointed S.V. Ranganath and me to choose a candidate. We couldn't consider, even think of anybody except Kedar. So much qualified he was in e-governance, nobody can shake him. Highly remunerative. After retirement, he said, no, thanks, sir. That is the greatness of this person sitting there. He is my very good friend. Very good friend. We are each mutually benefited by knowing each other. Maybe I am more benefited than Kedar because I belong to an older generation. So thank you very much for patient hearing. If you have any questions, you can always ask about that thing. We will be ready to do our best to give you satisfactory answers. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for those inspiring words.